So, firstly, I'm excited to introduce our keynote speaker, Rajat a global leader with over 30 years. A global leader with over 30 years of experience driving innovation through AI, data analytics, and automation at companies like Experian, IBM, and GE. Rajat's passion for transforming businesses and mentoring future leaders makes him the perfect speaker to inspire our graduates today. His wealth of experience and commitment to shaping the next generation of leaders is something that we're all looking forward to hearing.
How much time do I have, Ellen?
10 minutes.
10 minutes? Okay. So I'll try to speak for maybe 7, 8 minutes. And then if you have any questions, maybe now or later, happy to answer them. So I actually feel very privileged and honored to be standing here in front of a new cohort. And you are going to present your projects, and you're going to embark on a journey, which I'm sure will be exciting with all the skills you've learned, in the last 3.5 months. Just a little bit background about myself. I came into the world of high tech and AI pretty much in 2009, a bit earlier than most people did in business. But my background before that has been quite different. I started working in manufacturing, making tractors when I first came out of college, and I realized pretty early that what you need to focus on is something you have to develop over the years. And my 30 years are 32 now, actually, have been spread half of it in almost very small companies, including two of my own startups. The big companies I've worked for is IBM and GE, which most of you know of, hopefully. And my startups have been in the field of renewable energy most recently, and fintech before that. uh, Now, I strongly believe over these years that this kind of mixture gives you a eclectic mix of big company and small company, where you're almost the brand yourself. You're not selling any other brand; you're selling yourself every day, not just to your customers but also to your employees, to your suppliers, and everybody around you. So when I was thinking about what will I speak today, I said I'll share with you some of my anecdotes of what I have learned. And then, of course, the one piece which I'm sure you all want to listen to is AI. So I'll try to end my talk on that topic and try to link that to products. So, back in the early 90s when I started manufacturing, one of our key jobs was to keep looking at every part which used to be made in the shop floor and then ensure that it is basically coming of the best quality possible. It was a very detailed job, but frankly, what that taught you was that anything which comes out of your output should be of the highest quality. That time the focus was not so much on these big terms, but the idea was that how do you continuously improve the work you do every day? And that becomes core as you go forward into what shapes you as a professional. Over the years, in my 30 odd years, I have seen quite a few technologies being invented, some being practiced, and a lot being junked. Right? Sometimes you may say it's like old wine in new bottles, or new wine in old bottles. But I've definitely seen that it's very easy in business context to launch new technologies. If you launch 10 of them, 2 or 3 end up actually making mainstream. The rest end up being junk. It's very difficult to institutionalize and implement things in real business. Real business is a very tough environment, right? You are always trying to balance what you want to do tomorrow versus what you can do 1 year from now. So it's the strategy and tactical difference, which is very, very key. Now, moving on from there, the other things, when I came really into the world of high-tech I was not from that background. But the three things which I thought were transferable to this kind of work was, one is what I call, focus on quality and passion for excellence. That's number one. Second is, really looking at everything with curiosity and getting into the details. And the third is having an entrepreneurship attitude. Now, what do I mean by these three things? Very clearly, whenever you are working in any project, like I said, I give you a manufacturing example. Every part which comes out, you have to make sure that it is of the quality you want, or you reject it and rework it. But you realize that every rework is very, very expensive. So if you do it right the first time, that's what works best. When you come to your real projects, your real life in business, you realize that this passion for excellence and focus on quality makes you resilient. Things won't happen right the first time, but then you have to go back and improve them. And you have to continuously keep improving them. And that becomes very, very important. From an entrepreneurship perspective, I keep telling my teams, focus on whatever you are doing with passion. And in the business context, that passion really comes from what your customer wants. Now, all of you have gone through a product management course or a product development course, right? Your customers will keep changing and their needs will keep changing. But your focus on what you are doing is only and only because of them. That should stay constant, right? And I can tell you, all of us, even at whatever level we are in the business, we have to keep thinking about what our customer wants. Unfortunately, when you are small, that is very easy to do. But as you keep growing bigger and bigger as a company, you actually tend to get far and farther away from your customers. And that's where the challenge comes in. So, if you can focus on these three things, remember, whichever course you go to, whichever projects you choose, or whichever organizations you choose, your core skills are transferable. I don't believe in the feeling that, well, I'm a specialist in this or I'm not a specialist in this. I've always believed that being a generalist is always better than being a specialist, as long as you have the curiosity to learn new things, right? And this learning typically in the corporate world should never stop, right? I, for one, if I go back and remember, I would have spent these 30 years in approximately 6 organizations, but I would have changed my role every 2 to 3 years. That does two things to you. One, it keeps you on the edge, learning ever so constantly. Second, keeps you humble. That's the other key part, right? As long as you have the humility, people will feel that, what you're really saying is something you can actually do. Okay, now lastly, let me speak about AI. So, all of you have heard this term quite a lot, especially in the last 2.5, 3 years. Now, I've been doing AI in business since about 2009, and then very seriously since 2012. I was the first commercial leader who actually worked with the IBM research team to build a customer-focused solution for IBM Watson. So I've been experimenting with that for quite a long time now. And what I can tell you is, whatever happened about 2.5 years back when Gen AI came out, right, it did two things. One, it brought this conversation of AI into regular discussions. Before this, that was not the case. It has definitely created a lot of hype. So for people like you, when you are talking product management today, I don't think you can separate the word AI with product management anymore. Everything you will do from now on going forward will be linked to artificial intelligence. Now, whether it is Gen AI or Core AI or machine learning, that is separate. But you can't really now think of having a product management discipline without really knowing and learning AI. So one of my key messages today is that if you're still thinking this is for you or not for you, get over that. Right? This is about what you do, and this is about what each of us do. AI, if not now already for some organizations, going forward will become the runtime of most successful organizations. Think of it. You don't ask anymore, will I work on computers or not? Whether you're in HR, human resources, whether you're in marketing, you're in sales, you don't ask the question while joining, will I need to work on computers? You don't. It's a given. While there was a time when we were young, it was not a given. When I first started working, I was among the 20 people in a 1,000 people organization who knew how to work on computers. The others did not really need to or want to. Similarly, AI is a general purpose technology. It's like computers. Sometimes I give an example, it's like fire. Everybody uses it, right? AI will become like that very, very soon. So that's one message. Learn it, try to embrace it. Even if it scares you for the beginning, doesn't matter, you will learn it. The second aspect of this is what has happened with Gen AI, if you ask me, is that a lot of hype has also been created. So when I say use it, I'm also saying that don't fake it. There are lots of companies right now where they are getting enough pressure from the board where they are being saying, just say it is AI. And my caution to them is, like fire, AI needs responsible use, right? You can use the same matchstick to light a fire to cook food. You can light the same matchsticks to burn a jungle or create a mass fire. AI is something like that. So you have to learn AI to be able to responsibly use it. And that's why a lot of us have spent a lot of time in the last 2.5 years talking about ethics in AI and talking about how to use AI responsibly so that we can get some tangible benefit out of it, rather than just using for the sake of it. So having said that, I think that's all I would say right now on AI, but happy to take any questions, any thoughts you have. Thanks again, and all the best to you.